Welcome back to the Daily Deer. Today is day 29. Let's go ahead and trek into the deer woods. Today's topic is the freedom to hunt your own way. And the quote is by one of my all-time favorites, Marcus Aurelius. Not a conservationist of modern time by any stretch, but the quote is, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Now, I just talked about this quote on the Okayest Hunter podcast last night, or tonight, still tonight. It's 12:04 a.m. on, now it's Wednesday. Pretty confused about whether it's morning or night or what day it is, but hunting is deeply personal. It's something that we all should be doing for ourselves, and every hunter walks quite a different path. I mean, like literally and metaphorically. And all that's guided by their own experiences and how they were brought up and how they learned to hunt. Apologize with the ums. I'm just going back from the screen on my notes here. So everyone's got their own traditions, their own ethics, and kind of how they have done things and learned to do things. Some prefer, the challenge of going full on trad bow and shooting a recurve or a longbow. Some, and maybe even just the simplicity of it more than the challenge for that matter, but some prefer, a crossbow or a compound bow. There's a spectrum there. Why should it matter how someone else hunts? There are probably going to be things that do matter, but we can hardly control our own things that we want to do. Like my ability to get to the gym is not great. So if I can't control my ability to go to the gym, what on earth makes me think I'm going to control what someone else does, and specifically how they hunt? And for that reason, this just feels like a big waste of energy to have this pontification about, having opinions about how other people hunt. I think you can have an opinion. It's just not always necessary to express. To that end, some embrace, spot-and-stalk, some sit in box blind and hunt over bait pile. And so long as it's legal and ethical, it's the right way to hunt. And that's kind of how I think about it. It is your tag and it is your hunt. This is a message that we echo on the Okayest Hunter podcast and all of what we do and say. And you should really define success by your own standards. Hunting is a journey. There's different stages throughout that journey. They don't necessarily go in order. You could be on one stage, jump to another, come back again, progress through. Greg Tubbs and I were just talking about this on the podcast last night, the Okayest Hunter podcast, that, he might actually consider going to a trad bow just because he wants some more simplicity. And he's put a lot of time and effort into his compound setup. I think he loves that, but I think there's other things you might find that you love about a new method. And when you graduate to a new method, then you kind of have to reset your standards all over again. So certainly just hunt by your own standards and not by the expectations of others. Social media is pretty loud and some of it can be pretty negative. You could just ignore it. Marcus Aurelius also said, and we'll look at the screen so I get the quote right, you also own the option of having no opinion. He also said, we have the power to hold no opinion about a thing. Let go of judgment and focus on your own journey. You just don't need to be concerned about it, and you don't always have to have an opinion. I know us hunters are typically a pretty disagreeable bunch of people. We're visceral, we're passionate. We want to protect what we love. If we think someone's going to do something to damage that, I think that loud voice is a strong signal of that passion. So it's typically coming from a good place. The laws of human nature would tell us that no one is the villain in their own story. No one inherently thinks that they themselves are the bad guy. So in any interaction that you encounter, whether it be online or in person with another hunter, know that in their mind, they think they're doing good and coming from a good place. And in doing so, if you come at that situation or conversation or argument or whatever by attacking their perspective and their beliefs, the walls are going to go up even higher and the argument's going to get worse. You have to kind of acknowledge people and what they're saying first, so then they're ready to listen. And again, you don't have to have an opinion about things, but I just think people are passionate because we care about this stuff. Now I'm rambling, and it's been a very philosophical daily deer. as I record 12:08 a.m. on the 29th. So if you're watching this at 4 a.m. today, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, follow. We do have a newsletter that accompanies this that does go out in writing. So if you don't want to hear me ramble, you can just read this stuff. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen in podcast land. And I do encourage anybody tuning in to check out the other 14 or 13 shows on our podcast network. You can go to okayesthunter.com and go to the podcast network page. Thanks for tuning in and trekking into the deer woods with me. See ya.